Trump causes the anger. He causes the divisiveness. He foments the violence and blames others for it. That is despicable. The technique Trump is using is used by the worst dictators the globe has ever seen. Donald Trump should not hold office one day longer. And what we saw in his statements today is proof positive of that, if you needed any further proof, which I didn't. As I've said, if he won't resign, and Vice President Pence and the cabinet won't invoke the 25th Amendment, he will be impeached by the House, and as the law requires, tried by the Senate. Okay. Now about the Senate trial. So Leader McConnell is saying he can't call the Senate back after the House votes for impeachment because it requires unanimous consent, the consent of every senator. That's not true. There was legislation passed in 2004 that allows the Senate minority leader and majority leader to jointly reconvene the Senate in times of emergency. This is a time of emergency. McConnell claims he needs unanimous consent, the agreement of all 100 senators, but it's not so. I've asked him to call the Senate back. All he needs is my agreement, I'm still minority leader, and his agreement, he's majority leader. We could come back ASAP and vote to convict Donald Trump and get him out of office now, before any further damage is done.
Well, guys, the first week of 2021 was quite a year. You know, when I got into comedy as a teenager, I never imagined I would spend 3 days discussing an American coup. Honestly, if I knew what this week was going to be like, everyone would have spent New Year's Eve popping bottles of Pepto-Bismol. Yeah, it's been a hell of a week. If the country were a rental car, Trump's returning it with an empty tank and a huge dent.
She's all yours.
But Trump is in some serious trouble. It's sounding like next week he really could be impeached again. Yeah, Trump could be the first U.S. president in history to get impeached twice. And if Rudy Giuliani gets involved, he could probably squeeze in a third. I mean, no one gets impeached twice. Do you know how hard it is to do? It's basically O.J. getting away with it, then getting 9 years for stealing sports memorabilia. It can't happen. It can't. Seriously, you know you're messed up when you're fired and on the way out you somehow get fired again. It's like, wait, what? Trump's life is really historic. He's on track to be the only president to get elected once, impeached twice, and divorced 3 times. Meanwhile, after a 12-hour ban, Trump's Twitter account was restored, and today he tweeted, "To all of those who have asked, I will not be going to the inauguration on January 20th. Well, last night, Trump posted a video on Twitter where he tried to bring down the temperature of the country. Listen to what he said.
Now Congress has certified the results. A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th. My focus now turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and seamless transition of power. This moment calls for healing and reconciliation.
Meanwhile, the riots at the Capitol are still being examined, and anyone who might have played a role is being investigated. Listen to this.
Federal prosecutors saying they are looking at all actors involved in the riot at the Capitol on Wednesday, including the role that President Trump played in inciting the crowd.
If Trump ever goes to prison, he's going to be really lonely since he pardoned all of his friends. Speaking of, Trump has suggested to aides that he wants to pardon himself in the final days of his presidency. And some people are wondering if Trump can even pardon himself, but don't worry, Rudy Giuliani already has a bunch of soaking wet documents to prove he can. Yeah, a lot of experts are questioning if this is legal, but Trump was like, in that case, I'll just pardon myself for pardoning myself. Meanwhile, in light of this week's events, Trump's cabinet members are still stepping down. Last night, Education Secretary Betsy DeVos submitted her resignation. Man, even Betsy DeVos is smart enough to get the hell out. Betsy told Trump, Mr. President, it was the best 4 years of my life. Really was. Meanwhile, not all of Trump's cabinet members have abandoned him. This afternoon, Ben Carson was like, "Oh, what I missed this week." Say what? There's so much going on in the news right now, but it seems like not every network is worried about the same thing. Watch this.
CNN just learned that Betsy DeVos, the education secretary, is resigning.
Head of the Capitol Police is resigning, as is the Sergeant of Arms of the House and the Sergeant of Arms in the Senate.
Let me just give a plug for Olive Garden. I like Olive Garden.
The mood inside the White House, according to aides, they say staffers are appalled, disgusted, and shocked.
I like their salad, unlimited garlic breadsticks that are phenomenal.
The whole incident raises a lot of questions about police preparedness for the event.
They got these hot donut-like things that you put like chocolate sauce or caramel on. Great.